Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of KCF Academy. This is admiralrty and this time we will be talking about the in-game currencies and the different mechanics systems in the game that aren't actively playing, sort of idle gaming if you like. There are a lot of them and the tutorial really doesn't go over them, if at all. Sort of small pop-ups here and there when you first encounter them. So it's a good idea to go through them because there have been many systems added on top and on top of each other over the decade the game has existed. So let's go through them and let's start with the currencies. And I'm bringing up the assets menu, which is a good overview of all of them, well, most of them. The top one is the standard currency in the game. Pretty much everything drops this, but basically the only good way to really make money is the exchange. So buy the stuff cheap and sell them at a higher price. And it takes a little bit of knowledge to know what's valuable and what the prices are, and it obviously changes over time all the time. So it's an experience thing, and obviously you need a little bit of a startup capital to be able to buy things and then sell them for a higher value or profit. But that's the base currency in the game. Free-to-play model is limited to 10 million. So pretty much the first thing everyone has to buy or grind for is the cap remover for the energy credits. It's in the C store, probably here if I remember correctly. This one. So everyone pretty much needs this. I'm not quite sure how much this costs. 500 to 1000 cents. I'll check that and post you a link or something. But that's the basic currency of the game. The next one is the reputation marks. We'll circle back to that because it ties into the reputation system itself. The third one is the fleet assets, and this is assets you earn by donating to your fleet holdings. The wrong window. Let's take this one. So these projects. Let's move that a little bit. Here, for example, these assets, when you turn them in, you earn a varying number of fleet credits, which then can be used to buy stuff from the fleet stores. Fleet marks has the highest return value. It's 1 to 50, so 1 fleet mark earns you 50 fleet credits. That's the highest rewarding. Dilithium is 1 to 1. It varies. But this is the currency you need to buy things from the fleet stores themselves. We'll go over the fleet stores in more detail in upcoming videos when I go over the facilities themselves. Fleet marks are earned pretty much the same way as the reputation marks. I'll go over that in a little bit. Dilithium is the sort of premium currency in the game, if you like. It's capped, so this refining here, it's 8,000 per day. The ore thing, which is what you refine, is unlimited. You can earn as much as you prefer any given day, but the refinement is capped to 8,000. Everything pretty much drops dilithium in the game, so actually grinding for it is really not a thing anymore. Just play the game and you'll earn more than the 8,000 per day easily. These voucher things comes from, I think this comes from probably from one of my recruit event awards, and you get these from the Admiralty system as well. I'll go over that also in a little bit. So these are dilithium you can only use to buy stuff from here. There's also one that says fleet voucher, so that's dilithium that you can only donate to the fleet. But you get those as rewards, so I'll go over that in the system that when I come across it in a minute. Dilithium store. This is the exchange where you trade dilithium to Zen, which is the C-store currency. And at the moment it's it's a decent rate, 355 to 1. About a year ago it was almost 500, which is the cap. But this is where the grind comes in, because you can get Zen by actually buying it with real money, or you can trade the dilithium for it. And as it's capped to 8,000 per day, it takes a while to get enough dilithium to buy a useful amount of Zen, let's put it that way. So at the current rate 3055, to get 1000 cent you need 355,000 Zen. And for example, a standard tier 6 ship is 3000 Zen. So that translates to about 1 million dilithium to get that ship. So understandably it takes a while, particularly if you're only playing with the one character, then you're limited to that 8,000 per day. But if you have many characters, then you have 8,000 times as many characters as you have, so it's faster, obviously. The Zen exchange can also be used to transfer dilithium from one of your toons to the other, because you usually can't do that. So how you do that is you sort of make a stupid transfer here. So let's say I want to transfer 10,000 to some of my other toons. So I'm offering to buy, let's say, 1,000. What's the amount I would need? 500. Well, let's say 400. Then at 25 dilithium. So no one is going to buy that, that's obviously. But it goes into the pool here. So now I can go to my other tool, cancel it, and it goes to here. So this is account share now. So now I can switch to a different character and click the withdraw, and I would get that 10,000 of that character. That's how you do that. So I'm going to withdraw it now, so it comes back here. So keep that in mind. That's the way you transfer dilithium around. The fourth one here is gold press platinum. This is rather useless actually. This is the Ferengi currency, and it's used for vanity items only. You find GPL trading posts at Deep Space Nine at least. Rosana I think has, but it sells vanity things, so they're not valuable as such. So it tends to accumulate because there's no sensible use for it. And salvage is used for re-engineering. So let's see if I have something here I could re-engineer. For example, that. So for this, you need salvage and dilithium if I would unlock that. So to sort of roll it once, it uses that much. And salvage comes from mostly from discarding stuff. Not sure if I can discard something. All these. Well, if I were to take that off, there's a. Actually, I can't discard that all. Do I have anything here? I could show it with. Everything is so premium here, I can't salvage these. Well, there's an option. I'll show you a picture of it. Salvage here, which sort of dismantles the item. You get salvage and some crafting materials as well. Crafting materials being the next tab over here. So this is R&D. These are used for crafting, and these also drop from many places. Mostly I think from TFO rewards these days. I'll go over that in a bit as well, what TFO means. But luckily it has its own inventory window, so it doesn't clutter up your main inventory. There is also the sort of premium currency, which is this slow buy crystal, and typically this only comes from opening lockboxes. But at the moment there is well, the rerun for the winter event also had a thing for buying 200 low buy with the ornaments for the winter event, but it's about to end now, so that's one time thing. But the event campaign currently running has a reward that's a tier 6 ships and 200 low buy, or alternatively 1000 low buy crystal. And we're about to start the second one while as we speak. And the low buy store holds premium items, I would say. So ships that are, I would say, the highest quality in the game. Not the rarest. The rarest one are the promotional drop proxies that are time limited, so they are only available at certain times, whereas these are always here. So those are technically more valuable, but I would say these are really good ships here. But as you can see, they're quite expensive. So you need that 1000 low buy from the event to get one of these ships. And that's kind of the point of the event. Let's go back to that. Because it's either a C-store ship, which is the real money ship, or a low buy ship. So basically you pick which you want. Given that the C-store ship is account wide, I would recommend getting that unless you already have all the ships you want from there, and then get the low buy, because low buy is harder to get. Even with real money, it takes a while to open enough boxes to get 900 low buy. Space gear. So these are sort of premium items in the low buy store. What else? There's the Phoenix price here, which is sort of currency, as I suppose. Where you get these, you buy from Dilithium store here. Phoenix price pack, which you open, and it gives you a random quality. What's it called actually? Token. So let's open that. So it gives you a random quality token. So epic, ultra rare, very rare, uncommon. This one is very rare, so it's this kind. So I can now buy one of these. And these items in the Phoenix store are stuff that was in previous events that are no longer otherwise attainable. So they're all here. On this character I have most of this stuff already, but particularly for a new player, the Phoenix store is the only way to get these things, and you should buy these whenever possible, because there's also another aspect of this. Even if you have everything you ever owned, these can be sort of downgraded down to one tier down and one tier down again, and the lowest tier has this thing here, Phoenix Universal Tech Upgrade, and this is, apart from the Winter Limited Omega, the best upgrade there is in the game. And you are guaranteed to get these from these Phoenix boxes. So even if you don't get what you want, so you only get sort of blues or greens out of it, and you're looking for something very rare or even higher tier, you always end up getting these. So it's not a total waste, even though it costs quite a bit of dilithium. 4,000 for one, or 40,000, 4,500 for one, or 40,000 for 10. So it's a lot of dilithium, but you're always guaranteed to get at least the upgrade module. And obviously, if you get lucky and get the ultra rare or even the epic one, you get these really nice past event ships, which you can't get otherwise. And this is not account wide, so this will unlock for the character that actually claims it, which is a bit of a sad thing, because usually event ships are account wide, but from the Finifox they are not. So be sure to open it on the character that you actually want to use that ship on. So I think that's it for the currencies. Also go back if I think of something else. But the rest of the sort of idling system, well, let's actually go through the reputation because it was here. So reputation is on the character sheet over here. And these are the various reputations in the game which are obviously correspond to this list, plus the fleet marks. And your object is to tier up these reputations first to tier 5, which unlocks, which used to be the only maximum. This unlocks the most stuff. So it unlocks the active ability and the rest of the equipment set, and the tier 6 is sort of rank 2s of the traits and certain other bonuses. But these, how you do this, actually I can't show it with this tool because it's maxed out, but I'll show you a picture. There's a daily project you can run that sort of levels up these tiers here. So you need 250,000 to get it all the way to tier 6. For a new character it's 2500 per day, but once you hit tier 5 on one character, it jumps to 5,000 per day for all the rest of your characters. So one character gets to tier 5 and every other character you ever made gets 5,000 per day. So that's how that works. So do the daily one to level these up and pretty much do them all. You may want to prioritize which one you start with, depending on what type of build you're making. So there's different types of gear for every reputation that you can craft. So depending on what you're going for, you might want to do one of these first and then the rest, but eventually get them all because they unlock these here and also these here, and these are actually quite effective or make a big difference to your build effectiveness when you get these right. So, and if you don't do the repetitions, you don't have anything to slot here. So do them all. Takes a while, obviously. And to craft these, or more appropriately, run these projects, you can see here. Let's take that for example. You need energy credits, dilithium, neuroprocessors, which is the sort of the elite mark. I'll show that, and these normal marks, which are these. And how do you get these? Well, you run TFOs, which are the task force operations, which is this long list here. Now I'm running out of screen space here. So if you're looking for omega marks, you go here and find what gives you omega marks and run the project, and you get omega marks. You get one sort of daily boost, which is extra, and then after that you get a fixed amount no matter how many times you run these. And the difficulty here can also be selected, and to get the elite mark you have to run at least advanced. So now it shows that I also get the neuroprocessor. So advanced or elite rewards the elite mark, the normal one does not. So if you're just doing the level ups and not going to craft anything, you can just go with the normal one. But if you are going to craft, you need the elite marks as well, and you have to do at least the advanced one. There is a way, I'll cancel that, to get those elite marks without doing the hard or the advanced ones. See if I can find it here somewhere. I think it's upgrades actually. So this one. So if you have a lot of marks and need elite marks, you can turn 100 normal marks to 1 elite mark per day. So that there is a sort of workaround for that. If you have tons and tons of these and suddenly need elite marks, you can turn them in here. And you can also, if you have surplus like I have now, because I've maxed them all out, let's say Nukara, I have 1592, I'll go to Nukara here and go to trading marks, and I want to trade in 500 marks. So now I'm buying that. And it says I got 7500 dilithium ore for it. And I am down to 10,000. So you can turn the surplus into dilithium ore. It's not refined, but ore you can get. At least actually have a bit more I could do. Deem is a bit high as well. You can also dump your elite marks as well if you have a lot of those. But I usually hang on to those when if I want to try something I need to craft them, so at least I have those ready to go. Same amount. And data is pretty high as well. There we go. So that's the sort of end game use for these. You can get dilithium for it. Okay, that's the reputation system. Fleet marks is you earn them the same way you run DFOs, and you go to find fleet marks. Pretty much, well, not everything, but most things reward fleet marks as well. So that's a good way to earn fleet credits. And now getting into the idle mechanics things, I'll just go over my daily process. There's basically two, which is the duty officers and the admiralty, and R&D if you're doing that. But let's go to the overview words. So there's duty officer schools like diplomatic, science, engineering, so on and so on. And if you're a new character, your sort of goal is to reach rank 4, because that unlock certain privileges like transwarp locations and high quality duty officer and certain things like that. So your main goal is to reach rank 4, and that takes a long time. Particularly the recruitment one is really slow to get. So how do you do that? Well, obviously you need duty officers first. So you start with a bunch. I think you get a little bit at level 11, I think it starts, and you get some there. So obviously normally the roster size is 100. I have some extra slots out here. But you pretty much the first thing you want to do is get as many duty officers, no matter the quality, get as many as you can, as soon as you can. So it enables you to run these projects at least at some level. It doesn't have to be sort of max performance or almost always critical success, just so you can do them. And ways you can get those, there's well, I'll probably get back to you on that on a different video, but Space Academy has a vendor for it. Actually has 4 vendors, and the Fleet Starbase has similar vendors that have a daily, I think it is, a project for free duty officers. You can find them on the exchange, you can buy them from the fleet. There's many ways you can get them, but the priority is to get as many as you can as soon as you can, so you can start running these projects. So there's the current map. Depends on where you are, what's available to you. Personnel, I think this is roughly the same, if not always the same, no matter where you are. And then there are the different departments, and this sort of determines which of these schools you're leveling. And initially you obviously want the ones that has sort of this number is high, the XP number is high. So do these that have the most XP well, what you can, because you can't run these if you don't have the correct duty officers in your roster. But initially you'll want to find the ones that have the highest XP number. And once you're maxed out, like I have now here, the XP becomes kind of irrelevant, although it does have its use even at the endgame level. But I tend to go to the ones that reward dilithium. So at the moment there's a winter rerun, so these Q things have 125 here, so I'll pick these because they have a high reward here, 125. I'll pick that. That's about that. On the personal list, this is a good thing to do because contraband can be reward turned in for a lot of dilithium as well. So this is a good thing to do, even though the reward as dilithium directly is not high, but the contraband you get from this is good for dilithium. So I'll do that as often as I can. Then I'll go through the departments. Diplomacy usually doesn't have a high dilithium reward, but these are sort of a little bit rarer to find, so I tend to run these whenever they are available on a leveling character. Engineering usually has high dilithium rewardings, so there's 250 there, but it says I'm missing energy cells here and also here, so I'm going to replicator and buy some energy cells. So now I can run these. This one, that one, this one also 50. This one I need some shield generators for that. Okay, out of high dilithium there. Operations, what do we have here? And these change, well, there's an update every day. On shipboard, I think shipboard means either the ship or the base or the planet that you're on, and the sector is the quadrant you're in. So every sort of these intervals, the list sort of shifts, so you get a little bit different choices. So keep that in mind if you're looking for something specific and the timer is about to tick over. You could wait 5 minutes and see what the next list is. But as I mentioned, the contraband thing, let's see if I actually have enough contraband to do it. Barely, yes I do. So there's a security officer in most star bases and planets. Not all of them, but most of them. I'll cover that also in an upcoming video where we go over the facilities and planets and hubs. But on Earth Space Dock, the security officer is over here. And he has... it's on cooldown, so I can't show it to you. But prisoners, I think I do. Yes, I do have prisoners. But basically this is 2000 dilithium for 5 contraband. But it's on cooldown, so I can't run it right now. But that's the guy, or any other security officer you can come across for that. Okay, and the next thing is sort of the same thing with your ship roster, Admiralty. And this is highly dependent on how many ships you've accumulated on your playthrough. So a new player will not have many, but like me, who was playing for I think 6 years now, I think something like that, 7 years, I have a lot of ships. So I have no problem running Admiralty. I can run anything. So I have no limits for ships. But sort of the same thing. First priority is to max these out all the way. And then you can see there's this sort of recurring thing here. So max them out, and then you sort of do it all over and over and over again, because every time you hit the 10 count you get a reward. Not sure if it says it here what it is. Or probably says it here. Okay. For Federation it's 2 specialization points. For Klingon Empire it's 40,000 fleet dilithium vouchers for dilithium that you can only use for your fleet. It used to be sort of normal dilithium, but they changed it not that long ago to fleet vouchers, sort of which kind of fixed the dilithium exchange. As I mentioned, it was almost capped last year, so they took a lot of dilithium off the market, so to speak. So they changed this to fleet, and also the Phoenix box was added. This usually was not purchasable all the time. It was limited to specific weekends, but now it's permanent, so you can buy it all the time. So that means a lot of dilithium gets funneled into this, and this removes a lot of dilithium from the market. So that means the exchange rate went down, and it did. So the Zen is cheaper, so to speak, now. Or actually the other way around, dilithium is more valuable because there's less of it in the market. Romulan Republic, these are Romulan Republic tech upgrades. Pretty decent, but they're character bound, so you have to use them on this specific character. So after a certain point they become useless because like this character, there's nothing left to upgrade, so I can't use them for anything. And since they're bound, I can't transfer them around. And the Ferengi is another dilithium that they changed. This is a bonus pool, so it doesn't reward you dilithium directly, but it gives you a bonus pool that sort of rewards extra dilithium. Whenever you get dilithium from some other source, you get a bonus from this pool. So it's indirectly, so a little bit slower gaining than it used to be. So as you can see, for me this is useless because I don't need XP points, because if I hover on the top of the screen it says I'm at the maximum, cannot gain any more, and the Romulan is useless to me, so I'll be just running these two. And the sort of same thing, initially you want to run the one that has the highest XP to level up, and once you're done with that you want the ones that have the high dilithium. And you also want to pay attention to this bonus here, because it gives you something extra or a penalty. Like this is a warp core breach. Usually you would need 70 from these ships. They have, as you can see, they have these different numbers here. But it says warp core breach, and it says plus 75 engineering and plus. So when I actually go to plan this, it bumps the engineering to 145. And particularly for a character that doesn't have a lot of ships, this might mean that you can't actually run this successfully anyway. And as you can see, it doesn't have a bonus here, so I usually skip that. But this one has, well, obviously slow anyway, has 100 dilithium and has reverse engineer components, so you actually get crafting materials as well. So yeah, let's do this. It's a good choice. So I'll just go find something engineering and something science. So this one, and probably sort of the reverse of that, so that one. So I only need 2 ships to max it out, so leave that empty. There's one. So this is the one that sort of advances the recurring thing, which is the tour of duty. So I actually want that, so I'm going to do this wool. So that's the sort of idle gaming. These will run in the background, don't have to do anything. do this. And then there's the crafting, which is the research and development here. And again, even if you're not going to craft, you'll want to level these up to at least level 15, because that will unlock well, it doesn't really say it here, but it will unlock a certain trait, particularly, let's say, for science. When you hit level 15 here, well, it unlocks these special craftables, so to speak. So as you can see, it's level 15 there. So below that you can't even try these, but this unlocks a trait as well. And for science in particular, I'm not using it on this character, but it is where it is. Can't find it. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing over there. It gives this one, and this is really good for science. I'll definitely get that as it, but do them all to level 15. It takes a while, as all the other systems takes, but you get stuff for doing things, so there's a reward for it all. And how do you do that then? At the bottom of each school, there would be, I'll have to post a picture for it from some other character. There's a daily here that's, I think, 6,000 XP, and so you sort of run that as much as possible. I think you can run for 3 of those for one school, and then you have to do some. So you could do, if you have, well, at first you don't have all the slots, but you could do 3 and 3 and get level 2 schools fast, but you won't have 6 at that point anyway, so do as many of those dailies as you can. Officer training here is where you craft sort of these tier 3 abilities, and these unlock when you do, well, I'm sort of skipping around now, but these specializations here, when you fill these up with these experience points, which I didn't actually mention what this is, this specialization point, it's these points here. And as you can see, I've maxed out, so I have all of them filled up, and I also have 22 extra. So whenever they add another specialization, I can pretty much fill it up almost fully immediately. So when you fill these up, you get the ability to craft these special abilities here for your duty officers and yourself as well. And some of these are decently valuable on the exchange as well, so check around and see what you can craft, and check the exchange if they're valuable, and sell them. That's how you make money. And the special projects, this is for the Omega thing, and this is winter event only. And that's when it's actually running. Even right now when there's a rerun of the winter, this isn't active. So this is when you sort of get all the way to the bottom. These 3 are the best upgrade modules that are in the game, but you can only get them during the not the winter event, the anniversary event, which is in February. So that's the only time you get these. And they used to be that you could sell, well, not the text themselves, but up to this component you could sell them on the exchange, but they changed it this year that they are account bound. So this used to be a really high source for energy credit, but they changed it for some reason. We don't really know why they did that. So now they're just yours to keep, so if you want these you have to do them yourself now. Cannot buy them anymore or sell them adversely. Trying to think if there's any other systems I need to go over in this video. I think that's about it for the sort of idle things in the game. Yeah, I think that is. Next video is probably going to be either one of the field facilities or possibly the hub world, so Space Dock, Deep Space Nine, what else is there? What was the major hub files? Obviously Federation player myself, so I can't really show you bonus. Well, I guess I could. I have one character on that side. Could show that as well. Or the fleet facilities in some random order. It will be several videos anyway, because there's quite a lot of those to go about, and I don't want to make a 3-hour video. So until next time, this has been Admiral Rty. Bye bye.